Notice they cried for deliverance. God sent them deliverance. They had to wait 40 years again to receive it. In the wilderness, God promised He would supply everything they had need of. They got out of bread. And the same Jehovah Jireh, God provided the sacrifice to Abraham. 400 years later, was still Jehovah Jireh to provide everything that his children had need of. Here it is. I want you to go way deep on the left side under the fifth rib. Listen, He's still Jehovah Jireh. The Lord's provided sacrifice. Accept it. Don't just try to reason it out. Don't try to reason. You can't reason. God's ways are past finding out. You don't reason God. You don't know Him by knowledge. You don't know Him by education. You know Him by one thing only, faith. You can't reason. It's unreasonable to believe that you could reason it out. You can't. You just have to accept it. Notice again, in this great, tremendous time, they ran out of bread. What are they going to do? If God told them there's going to the promised land, it's up to God to take care of them till they get there. And the very Jehovah Jireh was right with them. And then when they ran out of bread, Jehovah Jireh provided a way of bread. All the way through the wilderness, manna rained out of heaven. They ran out of water. What's the use of worrying? Jehovah Jireh, the Lord's provided sacrifice, was right with them. And He smote the rock, and they spake to it. From then on, and waters come abundantly. What all the cattle, thousands of gallons per second pouring out of a rock in a dry desert. Unreasonable, isn't it? But God provided. You don't reason how He does do it. He just does it because He said He would. How could our patients laying dying with cancer, the best of doctors, say that there is no hope at all? How could they get well? It's unreasonable. But He is Jehovah Jireh. The Lord's provided sacrifice. How beautiful. One day, they got sickness in the camp. They had probably no medics and treatments. What was Moses out there with all that group of people, about 2 million of them, old and young and sick and all? When they come out of the wilderness, there wasn't a feeble one among them. But now notice, when they were out there, they had sinned, and snakes began to bite them. There was nothing they could do. And God, and while Moses speaking to him, provided an atonement, told Moses, go get a piece of brass, make a serpent out of it, and put on a pole. And it'll come to pass, whosoever shall look upon the serpent will be made well. Beautiful type again, the brass, the serpent itself, speak of sin already judged, Eden. When God pronounced a judgment upon the serpent, it was already judged. The brass speaks of divine judgment. On the brazen altar, where the beasts' bodies were burnt, after the blood was taken, every 9 o'clock at morning, 12 o'clock, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, gallons of blood was thrown on this altar over the bodies of the dead beasts. Black smoke rose up. Every Jew in Palestine fell to his feet. His hands toward heaven, and as that smoke ascended up, his prayers went with it. All right? Divine judgment, the bodies burnt on a brass altar. Just like in Israel, when Ahab had caused Israel to sin, and Elijah went out to look at the skies 3 years and 6 months, no rain, he said, it looks like brass, divine judgment. In Revelation, when seeing Jesus in Revelation 1, his feet looked like brass, divine judgment. The serpent spake of divine judgment, and to appease God, his judgments are divine. And then the pole represented the cross, and the serpent represented Jesus, the lovely Lord Jesus. He came down and was made sin. God revealed himself in a body made like unto sinful flesh, to take away sickness and sin from the world. How beautiful. In there he made a way. Jesus said, as Moses lifted up the brass serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Now what was the brass serpent lifted up for? For a compound reason. They had sinned and they were sick. Now, then Jesus was lifted up, wounded for transgressions, with his stripes we are healed. Compound reason, and it's just as real tonight for Christ to heal the sick as it is to save the sinners. More of a miracle for him to save a sinner. He has to change his ways, and surely after he's already changed, he would know how to believe God for his healing. See what I mean?